BehindTheMaskPresents.com presents Retro Rampage Podcast, Episode 6, companion piece to 5. We were talking about the rise of the retro gaming in the independent scene, and what complements that very well is Kickstarter, and Kickstarter's been massive, and it's part of the reason why a lot of these great games, like Mighty Number 9, Shovel Knight, which we'll talk about in a little bit, are even coming to life because of things like Kickstarter. Because basically, mom and dad company doesn't want to support a potentially great idea, and they're left with their pants hanging down. So I don't think in their case it's bad for the fans to chime in and support. So especially when you get something out of it. I think a lot of times you're going to get a free download out of it, or you're going to get some kind of little perk of it. And if anything, you get to see a game that you're going to love that might not have come to fruition actually come to life. So, and a lot of times they're not without its credibility. Like I said, Mighty Number 9, obviously the creator of Mega Man, that was his baby, and Capcom is doing nothing with Mega Man. He's been dead for 10 years. And he's had canceled game upon canceled game upon canceled game, and it just seems like he's all but dead and a redheaded stepchild for Capcom. And, so he's taken his idea elsewhere. Capcom still owns the name, but he's basically making a template game, Mighty Number 9, like everybody knows by now, and doing it himself with the help of the backers and the fans that want to see, if we're not going to get Mega Man, at least something like Mega Man from the creator of it. So, you're almost guaranteed a certain level of quality when you go that route. So, I'm totally for it for the indie guys. Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. But what's your opinion, River, on the trend? What do you think of bigger companies going the route of Kickstarter? These are, before we get into that, bigger companies that by all means have the dough to invest in it, but they don't know if they want to sacrifice. Maybe it's it would be like let me set an example. It would be like Capcom. Yeah. Capcom clearly does not have faith in Mega Man. Yeah. That's why they're not making them anymore, because things like Resident Evil might be selling more or whatever. But they could be like, hey, if you guys want a Mega Man game, we're going to do a Kickstarter and you guys can, support it. That's where it's like, whoa, okay, now these indie companies, they don't have Square One money to make it. Yeah. Capcom just doesn't want to take the financial risk, which is kind of part of being in the game of business. So what's your opinion on that?
You know what? It goes for the film industry, too. These bigger companies that are doing these Kickstarters, it makes me fucking ill. People don't want to... I don't understand why they wouldn't want to revive their franchise, but yet that and come up with the original idea. Like, are they that scared where they're thinking they're going to lose money to come out with a new 2D platform game where they can't put up the money themselves to actually put it out? Like, this happens a lot in the film industry, too. Like, you got big guys, God, I don't know who's the last, Spike Lee or somebody like that coming out with a Kickstarter campaign for a fucking movie. This guy has millions, well, not billions, but millions of dollars in the bank where he can put up $2 million for a fucking film. And if you don't think it's going to be successful, don't put up, don't ask other people for the money, is basically it. So you should go in knowing it's going to be successful to put it out, and knowing that you're actually going to make money. It just makes me sick, man.
And not to get too detracted from games, but another thing that kind of goes along with it is the recent news of Kevin Smith. He's been doing the Clerks. He's been pitching Clerks 3 for a long time now. I think he wrote the script. It's totally done. And he went to the Weinsteins, who have put out, they put out like 80% of everything now. And they turned it down. Yeah. They're not going to back it. So, I don't know what he's going to do, if he's going to sort of like finance it himself, or if he goes to a Kickstarter type thing.
Finance it himself.
The thing is, and he might very well do that. I'm not accusing him.
He financed the first one himself. Why can't he do the third one?
So here's the thing. If someone like him, and this could be parallel to the gaming world, let's say in this situation he did go to Kickstarter. It's going to make its bank. Yeah. Because there's enough hardcore fans. But I'm not saying he's going to do that, but he doesn't have to. Because like you said, these movies, the first one had like, a $30,000 budget or something stupid like that. The second one had like about $5 million budget. And of course, Kevin Smith or indie style films, they're low budget, micro budget, and so they turn a profit. They don't make a lot of money, but they turn a serious profit. Clerks 2 cost $5 million to make, and I think it flipped about $35 million.
Yeah,
that's amazing profit margin. That's all you care about in the business. So, I mean, I don't want to say how much money Kevin Smith has, but I think maybe if he could afford to put up, maybe he can't afford to just throw down $5 million right off the bat. But if he can afford to sacrifice $2 million, but if he wants to anywhere from $2 to $5 million, he knows he's going to get that back.
Yeah.
So he knows he's going to get that back out of the hardcores. So I mean, the game
even if it's straight to DVD, it'll get the $2 to $5 million.
Yeah, I mean.
There's a lot of hardcores.
The gaming industry needs to follow suit, and the same thing goes with the music industry as well. But now, to be positive about it, what if that was the only way these, for example, Mega Man fans that love the franchise, what if that was the only way they were going to get one? What if it's and what if they offered enough incentive? Then I'm kind of open to it.
I want a credit on the fucking game.
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay, what if Capcom's look, these games are not smart risks for us because, if you guys want them so bad, then you guys need to go out and buy them. So we don't feel like making them because, statistics haven't shown that they turn enough profit for us. So we'll start a Kickstarter. If you guys want one made, you guys put down the dough for it. But basically, what if the Kickstarter contribution served as a pre-order?
Oh, served as a pre-order for the actual...
Yeah. So okay, if we meet our goal, the way Kickstarter works is if we meet our goal, let's say they want $5 million. I don't know. Let's say they wanted $5 million, and if they don't meet the goal, I think everybody gets their money back.
Okay, that's not bad if it's for a pre-order, but still.
No, I think that's how it works. Everybody gets their money back. But if they hit their goal, everybody that put down $50 gets the pre-order of the game. It's like you just paid for your game.
Oh, okay.
If it was that way, that's great because that guarantees them that we're going to sell this many copies.
And I would get my money back if it didn't, hit the number. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're guaranteeing that you're going to get what you pay for, great. And if you wanted to contribute less than that, I mean, if you want to contribute $5 or $10, get a Mega Man poster. I mean, there's a lot of people that would do it. I would do that. I would, as long as I was getting something for my money. Mm-hmm. I could potentially get. I think it's just situational, but as long as these big companies don't abuse it, I would hate for it to become the norm.
I think it's already getting abused. I mean, it's already starting with the film industry and now the video game industry. I mean, it's just going to keep happening and happening. And they're just going to take advantage of the fans. They will.
And I'm scared it's going to come to the norm. For example, take something like the Resident Evil series. Mm-hmm. Okay, fans have been. I mean, the Resident Evil series. First of all, we could, actually bring up the fact that Capcom is going up for sale, which, knock, Nintendo needs to buy that shit up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I know it's easier said than done. But anyway, you could take someone like Capcom, despite their financial situation, Resident Evil is their cash cow. Mm-hmm. And fans have been clamoring for a return to the horror genre for a few installments now. And, 5 was complete action, set in the daytime. Then they kind of promised, okay, we're going to go back to the horror element with 6.
Flop.
They kind of lied, and it wasn't. So the hype and the buildup is insane. Fans really want a straight-up horror. And you know what? It's kind of like the Mighty Number 9 thing. The original creators of Resident Evil are coming out with a brand new game. Mm-hmm. That is complete horror based, and I'm stoked for it. So it's like you got these people that were part of the genesis of these franchise, and they're kind of losing their way thanks to big corporation, and they have to go off and do their own thing and go indie style. So anyway, Resident Evil, the fact that they've been keeping it away from fans, they've been not giving fans what they want, wouldn't it be kind of a dirty thing for them to go, hey, guess what? We'll give you your straight up horror, but you guys are going to pay for it. How bad do you want it?
And they're going to make it a first person shooter. Piss everybody off.
It's like, hey, if you guys, basically, it's like if you guys want to guarantee, if you guys want to guarantee to get what you want and you want this, you guys got to shell out the dough now and let it.
That's dirty. I mean, they got to give you information. They got to give you trailer. The
reason why they've been doing the Resident Evil, it's gone action, is because they've straight up admitted we want to cater to the broad mass that, there's action fans, these FPS over the shoulder, the action fans. It's a broader spectrum.
But obviously, the past 2 games have been a flop, so why would they do that?
I wouldn't say that. Resident Evil 5 is the highest selling Capcom game of all time. It overtook
5 was?
It overtook Street Fighter 2 as the top selling Capcom game.
Over 4?
It overtook Street Fighter 2 as the top selling Capcom game of all time. No, over 4.
Huh.
Street Fighter 2 was the number 1 Capcom seller of all time.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but Resident Evil 5. I mean, that's just...
It doesn't matter. Resident Evil 5 is the number 1 seller, which actually surprised me too. So they're doing something right, but to cater to the broad audience, they're alienating their core audience. So I would hate for them to, like I said, kind of wave a carrot over their nose.
What was 6? Do you know?
What about 6? I don't know how well 6
was. There a least selling game of all time?
No, it did. It did respectable. No, okay. Dude, they've had franchises that didn't do well, that sank. Things like Lost Planet, things like that. No, Resident Evil 6 it put up respectable numbers, even if they were under projection. But I'm just saying, it would be a shame that, it just seems like if you get into the world of business, part of the business is making good business decisions and figuring out where you want to put your money, investing and things like that. And it seems like nobody wants to do anything but go for the sure thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't know. It's kind of whack. But hopefully, like you said, it doesn't continue to become the norm. But hopefully, like anything that has some bad to it, there's great things to it. And that's where we're getting these smaller indie companies that are getting it made. I want to say thanks to Kickstarter. I don't have figures in front of me, but Mighty Number 9, of course, well exceeded its asking dollar amount to get that game made. Not only that, they've actually launched a new Kickstarter, a second one to produce. I believe it's to produce an animated series, and the game isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
So it's insane It's insane how much backing support that game has, and that's all for the credibility. So it's doing some great things. Shovel Knight, like I said, which we're going to have a review in this following companion episode here. Shovel Knight is insanely good, and that was all Kickstarter. And I didn't get behind it. I'm not real big of an enthusiast as far as contributing money to Kickstarters. Just because it's kind of a saturated, like we said, it's a big trend. It's like you don't know what to trust anymore. But after playing Shovel Knight, I can easily say I wish I would have given to this project. And now I will start to keep a wider open eye to these projects, because now I'm open to giving to them, because Shovel Knight just proves that there is people with legitimate intentions out there, because it is that good of a game. So, and also, Oddworld New and Tasty, it's an indie game.
Yeah.
The Oddworld inhabitants, they're putting out Oddworld. They're now indie, all that great stuff. They're having to do it themselves. I don't think, poor me. I don't think this was necessarily a Kickstarter, but they are saying that, hey, if you guys want a remake because Oddworld New and Tasty is a remake of Abe's Odyssey, the first Oddworld game, and they're just laying out there hey, if you guys if we can sell so many copies of this game. If we can sell X amount of copies, that will allow us to remake an HD version of the sequel, Abe's Exodus. And if we actually sell this many copies, more, we'll actually be able to be funded to make a whole new game, a whole brand new original game. So they're not asking for your money per se, but they're saying, look, we're going to tell you like it is. If you support us, if you like these games, if we sell this many copies, it's going to afford us to make more for you.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the New and Tasty screenshots, man. It looks beautiful.
And like I said, those games have a credibility, just like the Mega Man creator has a credibility with Mighty Number 9. I love the Oddworld games.
Yeah.
Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. I love Abe's Exodus. Those games were innovative, 2D gold. They were challenging. There was nothing like them. So I am very much looking forward to it. I'm going to put my money into it, and I'm going to buy a copy of it because I'm stoked for it. And so there's a lot of good going on here. And I hope a lot of these companies that are stranded, that would have otherwise dead franchises, I'm glad that they're taking advantage of it. And actually, there's a few other franchises I'd like to see There's a lot of games that never got sequels that were attempts at franchises, or maybe they had one or two and they kind of fell off, that I would love to see come back.
Yeah.
That people that maybe still own the rights to them can just start Kickstarters, little indie developers. It would be sensational. And I know it's not always as easy as, these developers having the rights, like a Capcom thing. But anyway, it's a great thing. And hopefully people pay attention and contribute to it. And 2 words, if you don't believe me, just go out on a limb, purchase Shovel Knight, $15. It might seem like a lot, but you're getting a whole lot of great game for $15. And if anything, you're going to get your money's worth, and it's going to sort of open you up to, the fact that there is a lot of good things coming out of Kickstarter, despite some of the sour tasting bad stuff.
Majority of sour taste for me, but yeah, that's a little bit light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, stick around. Next episode, we're going to talk about the Shovel Knight. That's right, the Shovel Knight. Thanks.